something started changing.
I want you to write this book. No, I don't want to write that. Here's $1 million. Okay.
Right, right.
You're brave talking about Octavia. That's like saying something about Stevie Wonder. He'll be ready to attack you. You say Stevie can't sing. All right. And I didn't say Stevie can't sing. I said people will be ready to attack you if you say it. Any other questions? All right, so we're going to, okay, yes. And after this, we're going to have our authors read.
Hello, my name is Akeem, and I'm from London, England. My question is for the publishers. Do any of you, or at the moment, or plan to push your books internationally, or outside the States, at least?
He's really from 63rd Street in Chicago.
To answer your question, I actually just signed 2 authors, and they're both from London.
Yeah, we do. Actually, we do sell books internationally. Some of the things that I've done over the past few years have been able to make that easier. We print our books through Lightning Source, which is owned by Ingram, which is an international distributor. And right now, if you go online, our books are available virtually around the world. For some odd reason, we have a great market in Australia. I sell a lot of books in Australia. I sell a lot of books in England. I sell a few books in France. And this is just from word of mouth and passing around. That's the reason why we did e-books, and that's the reason why we did international distribution. So wherever the books will sell, that's where we'll go. I'm hoping that they'll sell enough to where I can actually take a business trip to some of these places and and visit some of the people reading my books.
I just recently launched AliciaMcCalla.com, and when I launched it, I was very surprised to find that I've got a lot of hits from Australia, from England, also I think Japan. So I'm assuming when my book is ready, it's probably going to sell in all those places as well. And it was quite shocking.
Any other questions? We can take one more question. Yes, sir.
My name is Charles Buyonge, originally from Kenya, but I live here. One of the things that I wanted to say is that there is a lot of interest, especially many places, on what goes on here. It actually goes, it affects other places. I can say for Kenya, for instance. So it is important, not only when you're writing books and talk about culture and history, to also directly project your audience to other African and the diaspora. It will be important for you because it will actually have an awakening. That's an opinion.
I said questions, but since his accent was so nice, we'll let him get away with give an opinion.
It's funny, and I'm glad that the fact that you are from Kenya, because my Changa series actually takes place, it originates in Mombasa. And all of the Changa stories start off with a Swahili title. I have a friend of mine named Anthony Kamau who's from Kenya, and whenever I need to translate the titles, I get in contact with him and say, well, how do you say this in Swahili? And he'll give me a translation. One of the things that has really been rewarding to me is that I really wanted to stay, I write fiction, so I don't try to, emulate African culture because it's so vast, the whole continent. I don't try to emulate it exactly. I just try to get the feel of my stories. And one of the most rewarding things have been when I do meet people from different countries in Africa that have read my book. They basically have told me that I'm getting it right. They'll say, yeah, a lot of us all say, well, have you ever been to Africa? And I was like, no, I haven't. They say, well, you got some pretty good details in here and stuff like that. So when I write them, I consider that as well. I consider that I want to appeal to that group of people, but I also want to respect the cultures. I don't want to write it as if, I don't want to write a Tarzan book, in other words. I want anybody of African descent to be able to pick up my books and read my books and feel that I'm respecting the culture, and because I know being an African American is different from being an Afro-Brit or Afro-French, or it's a different, because we all have a different from that one common origin. We all have gone in different directions based on the countries that we grew up in and the cultures that we were affected by. So when I do write, I want to make sure I'm very careful about making sure that I'm not slighting anybody or projecting any stereotypes that have been created because of the histories and the cultures.
All right, now we're going to have our authors, if they're willing, to read, for a couple of minutes each from their passages. We pray, because we've already gone to about 95 minutes. We pray that no one reads half their book. But, a couple of pages, a couple of minutes, and then we'll close out. And if there are no other pressing questions, if you could come forward some, please, so you can hear. I don't know, everyone may not be comfortable reading with a mic. If you are, that would be good. I'd like to start first.
My husband, he's so graciously passing out my flyers back there. You guys, hold on to these flyers since they cost money.
We'd like to purchase these books. All staff books here.
They do have them.
And they have promotional materials that will be given to everyone.
All right, do you want me to just read the description of the book and then read my passage? Okay. What if Cage took your mom? 17-year-old X.J. Patterson comes home from school to find her revolutionary mother using pyrokinetic abilities to fight officers from Cage. X.J. freaks out when her mother falls, and Cage hauls her away for a mind swipe procedure. She wants to get her mom back, but she won't become a revolutionary to do it. X.J. hated growing up in the Gep Revolution and will do anything that she can to be mainstream, even ignore the boy that she crushes on. She won't join him, and she won't let him tell her story. Brandon Miller has a huge crush on X.J. He doesn't care if they're the wrong mate designation type, that she's poor or he's rich, that she's black and he's white, or that she's his stalker ex-girlfriend's stepsister. All he cares about is convincing her to become his girlfriend and telling her story on his revolutionary TV program. When he sees X.J. cut a deal with a crooked mainstream reporter, he does anything in his power to show X.J. the truth. But will it be too late? Breaking Free is the first story in the Genetic Revolution series. Three cousins come together to become the ultimate weapon that will destroy Cage, an organization designed to keep Gep under control. With the help of their holographic grandfather and host of Gep allies, will X.J., Amber, and Whitney reunite to overthrow Cage and free Geps from oppression and tyranny? And then on the back I have my little excerpt. "15 years later, we take people in for questioning who are undeniably guilty. With our monitoring technology, we know immediately that they've broken the law. Geps must be dealt with severely." Dr. Herman Geiger, Cage News Conference. She had to get to her mom. X.J. Patterson made it to the open clearing in front of her home. She turned back to see classmates on the school bus locked at the backed up traffic and Cage cars in the front of her home. They'd have more to gossip about now. She took a deep, cleansing breath and shook off her aggravation. From her side vision, she saw a football player-sized Cage officer barreling towards her. She didn't have time for this. She gathered up her braids into a makeshift ponytail and pulled out her audio stun gun. It was illegal for Geps to use their abilities, but not to carry a weapon. They couldn't arrest her for having it. The stench of burned flesh filled her nostrils, and her mother's bluish electric light danced across the clearing ahead of her. The half-white-looking Cage officer was on top of her. "Offspring of Dorothy Case Patterson, cease or be reduced." XJ wanted to fight back to save time, but knew that using her abilities would get her in more trouble, so she shot him. He fell back and his body shuddered. "I just want to see my mom. Is that too much to ask?" She yelled at the other officers and rolled under a down log for cover. XJ felt a surge inside her mind. They were trying to activate the power-reducing mechanism, but it wasn't working on her. The sensation warmed, deadlier. This had a mission. They probably couldn't figure out why it wasn't working quicker. They didn't know that her grandfather had embedded the code inside her DNA. This was why everyone treated her so special, and why she detested her life. She closed her eyes and reopened them. Broad shoulders came into view. She took a shot and stunned the blonde cage officer. Her telekinetic abilities shuddered throughout her body. She was ready to fight. This was taking too long. Forget them finding out that that stupid power reducer didn't work. Her unhampered abilities brought her a sense of raw power, and her world woke up. "Launch the power reducer," she heard in a Bosnian-sounding accent through a nearby headset. Behind the officer, she saw a branch wrapped in kudzu hanging from a tall tree. She focused her mind and forced the branch to swing and smash into the cage officer's wide neck. It hit his kill switch. His brown eyes looked shocked as he buckled under like a fallen giant. Finally, 3 down, she got up and took off.
Okay, this is an excerpt from my story. Dropped my spectacles there. This is an excerpt from a short story from my book, Griots, the collection. This is actually my story. I'm going to read a short passage from it to kind of give you a feel of what Griots and Sword and Soul is about. The title of this story is Marimbo Alianaswa, which means captured beauty. Eager spectators crowded the bulwark of the Sada, packing the merchant dhow from stern to bow. Those that couldn't find room on the deck hung from mast ropes and sat on the bulwark. Their eyes focused on 2 bare-chested men circling each other, their brown skins glistening with sweat. The taller man lumbered from side to side, his huge arms swaying as he tried to keep pace with his shorter opponent. He possessed a wide chest and a wider stomach, sitting on legs that resembled thick tree trunks. His short curled hair atop his head contrasted with the voluptuous beard grazing his chest with each frustrating turn of his head. The other man moved with martial grace, his body a chiseled muscular form. His smooth face and bald head told of his youth, but his deep brown eyes revealed experience beyond his years.